Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Bird, Nick, and today we're doing an Ask the Pulpit. Yes, it's that time where I fire up the phone line, listen to the messages that you guys have left me, and it's been a few weeks, since we did one, so we have a handful of calls banked up. Not your best, though. I'm not talking about the quality of the calls. What I am talking about is the number of calls. Sometimes you guys have more. And, I'm just saying, this is not your optimum level. So I'm just going to say, you guys can do better. These are rookie numbers. Get your numbers up. Anyway, enough of that. I don't mean to chastise. All right, guys. Well, before we get into that, though, I'm going to fire up a cigar. And my cigar for the day is the My Father Blue Toro. I feel like I did this on the show. Can't really remember. But truthfully, it's an Ask the Pulpit episode, and I can smoke whatever the hell I want. So, there. It's a 6x54 Toro featuring a Connecticut broadleaf Rosado wrapper over Honduran binder and Honduran fillers. And it comes from the My Father facility there in Honduras. It's their first one out of that factory. And I found these at Party Source when I was hanging out there with Trey Mac recently, and they're a good cigar, and I felt like, I'm gonna get myself one. And then tonight, when I was looking in the humidor trying to figure out what I was gonna smoke on this episode, I was like, the cigar is not the star of the show when it comes to Ask the Pulpit. It tends to be the listeners and your calls. And so I was like, I can kind of smoke whatever the hell I want. And, I decided that I wanted to smoke this. So there we go. Anyway, it's time to cut the cigar. And the official cut is brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. Two Guys have been around for 40 years, and they are the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows Two Guys, but if you don't, please give them a try. You're not going to be sorry. Family owned and operated, 2guyscigars.com does the very best to provide a great selection, fair prices, and excellent customer service. So head on over to 2guyscigars.com for your next cigar purchase. Tell them that the Cigar Pulpit sent you. And remember, that's the number 2guyscigars.com. With that, it's time to go ahead and cut the cigar. All right. Get this guy cut and lit, and then we will listen to your calls. I'm really hoping that my power stays on during this. We're supposed to be getting some storms tonight, and I meant to have this episode recorded earlier in the day, but I've had a hell of a day. Long day. A lot of work done today. A lot of work. But that's good. It needed to be done. But it's one of those things where I kept saying, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And then it was, okay, I'm going to get dinner, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And somewhere in the process of that, I had an old man moment. I was sitting out here in the garage. I've moved the comfy office chair out here, so I can be a little more comfortable than my lawn chair that I have been using. And I'm just sitting here and spacing out for a moment. Next thing I know, it's like 8 o'clock. It's almost dark outside. And I'm like, what just happened? The night just disappeared. And I got sucked in this chair, and I had an old man moment where I just fell asleep in my chair. And, I did not get this episode done until now. And so now I'm doing this. So, this is turned from one of those, okay, I'm going to be on top of things. I'm going to get all kinds of stuff done, get it all accomplished, blah, 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 blah. And, now we're down to the wire and doing this and getting it edited and releasing into the world, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am style. So there we go. Anyway, while I light the cigar, why don't you guys listen to the greatest commercial you've ever heard?
Some say cigars are all the same. It's just not true. It's you I have to blame.
Well, I don't know, 'cause what I know, there is a cigar called Aladino. The Rojo.
Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. They say authentic, so we're not confused, while the others say it's a word that's just abused.
I guess that's so. They can't compete. At least I'm sure Aladino can't be beat.
Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Cigars use authentic Corojo tobacco from JRE Tobacco. This is the greatest commercial you ever heard.
Yeah. Boy, I hate it when you light the cigar exactly how you light all the other cigars and you do everything that you're supposed to do. Whoa, there's something wrong with that lighter. And you do everything you're supposed to do, and there's just that one spot that for whatever reason just doesn't seem to want to catch. It seems to be doing all right now, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll watch it and make sure it keeps up with the rest of the cigar. The last thing in the world I want is like a spot that, for whatever reason, just doesn't catch, and now I'm having an uneven burn and a horrible experience. By God, we don't want horrible experiences. Okay, well, the cigar is lit. You are greeted. Let's get into it.
Shall we play a game?
You talking to me? I have a question for you.
You gotta ask me nicely.
Ask me about my winner.
You got a question? You ask the 8-ball.
Come on, sucker. Let's get it on.
Let's get it on. Indeed, it is time for Ask the Pulpit. You guys can get your calls in for future Ask the Pulpit episodes by calling me on the hotline at area code 863-874-0000. That's 863-874-0000. Or tofu pie with no E, 0000. Okay, let's jump right into the messages, and we will listen to the first one now.
Hey, Nick, it's Seth in Connecticut.
What up,
calling
Seth?
to touch on something you brought up in your Ask the Boys or Ask the Pulpit episode today while you guys are down in PCA, that you're listening to your vinyl Phil Collins album this week. So that got me to thinking, my top 5 vinyl albums of all time. First one, number 5, Beatles' White Album. I know Beatles are controversial. Some people love them, some people hate them. I don't care. I love the White Album. It's got Rocky Raccoon on it. Greatest Beatles song ever. Number 4, Toad the Wet Sprocket. Solid 1990s alternative rock band. Their album Fear had a couple great tracks, Walk on the Ocean, All I Want, and the popular ones. But start to finish, that was a great album. Number 3, Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong. Ella and Louis. Just takes me back to my grandpa, who was a crooner. Love that style. Stevie Ray Vaughan's Texas Flood, but it has to be the Legacy Edition. It's actually a 2-disc set or 2-album set. It's got, your Texas Flood, Pride and Joy, but it's got a live version of Little Wing that is just absolutely amazing. And number 1, this one's going to throw you for a loop a little bit, but Frank Zappa's Apostrophe. I don't know how much you know about Frank Zappa, but he was a little odd.
He was odd.
But he was a lot of fun and musical genius. The man never touched an illicit drug in his life.
I don't believe that for a
second. But came up with some of the most amazing music. The first 4 tracks on that album tell a story, and it's highly entertaining. But when you mentioned the Phil Collins album and on vinyl, it just kind of struck a chord with me. I had to call in and give my top 5 vinyl albums of all time. Stay safe and stay smoky, everyone. Have a good day.
It's a solid list there, Seth. Sorry. I was doing my best to listen. I won't lie. You got to naming off your albums, and you named off what was the for Beatles, the White Album, and number 5 there. And I took a puff on my cigar, and my brain said, "Release the smoke," and my body swallowed it. and I just swallowed an entire draw off of my Father Blue. And let me tell you guys, I don't recommend that. The burning is real. I will say the cigar takes on a very unique flavor component of like barbecued beef when you swallow it. I don't recommend it. It's not a pleasant barbecue beef component. But it's a barbecue beefiness that at no point in the smoking experience do you ever encounter. So if you want to try the unique flavor of the My Father Blue, take a big old puff on your cigar and just swallow the smoke. Again, I don't recommend it, but you can do it. And if you do, you get the lingering aftertaste on your palate of barbecued beef and extreme heartburn. Okay, I'm just going to let the cigar sit for a minute. It's wisping smoke, so it hasn't gone out yet. But holy shit, I'm collecting myself. I'm sorry, Seth. I have just completely woof. By the way, the YouTube on this, gold. The audio, it's less interesting. But let me tell you, the camera watched the whole thing go down, and that was unpleasant. Okay, I have the transcription, as good as it is in this program, of your message in front of me, so we can go over this top 5. Beatles' White Album, solid album. Look, I think the reason some people hate them is okay, we're back. We're smoking. We're okay. I think the reason some people profess a dislike for the Beatles is not so much necessarily because of because of the Beatles themselves, as much as just the general hype around them. It's one of those things. Anytime, you're like talking about a subject, be it a movie, TV show, band, book, whatever it happens to be, if it's one of those ones that's always in the contention, always in the discussion for some of the best ever, and I'm not necessarily saying that the Beatles, in my opinion, are the best ever. I'm just saying that they are, they've been put in that discussion. Of course, it's going to elicit opinion. And of course, sometimes people have opinions saying, kind of hating, for lack of a better term, on them because they don't feel as though they should be in that discussion. And also, it's all subjective. It's all different people's tastes. I mean, just like cigars, it's different people's taste. And so sometimes I think it's one of those things where you hate because it's contrarian, or not necessarily. And I don't necessarily think it's conscious. I think it just happens that way. But I don't know. Whatever. It's all people's taste. I like some Beatles. There's some Beatles I don't dig. When the Beatles were high as a freaking kite and singing about goofy shit, I didn't like it nearly as much, But I will say, I own Abbey Road on vinyl, and while not every song on that album is my favorite, there are some really good songs on Abbey Road. So I don't know. It's a one of those things. People have opinions. So, but the White Album is a solid album. You can't. If you're talking about the Beatles, that's one of the big ones. So, you got it's fine. Boy, you're number 4. That came out of nowhere. Toad the Wet Sprocket. I am familiar with Toad the Wet Sprocket. Walk on the Ocean. I like that one. I'm familiar with that song. I'm not gonna lie. There's other. Hang on. Let's just go to the Googles and see what other Toad the Wet Sprocket songs. Yeah. See, that's the thing. I'm looking at names of songs here, and none of them are standing out. That one, Walk on the Ocean, that one is hitting, and I remember it. But none none of the others based off their song titles are ones that are like, oh yeah, I know that song. So I can't necessarily say that. But you've given me something, a rabbit hole to go down, later tonight when I'm, post editing and I'm just chilling out. So, maybe we'll get down with some Toad the Wet Sprocket this evening. Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong, dude. I mean, that's a classic right there. Stevie Ray Vaughan, another one. Super good. And Frank Zappa, man, I don't buy for a moment that he didn't do an illicit drug, but you're saying that and I'm not going to argue it, but it's definitely surprising to me if that's the case. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. So good, solid list. I don't know. I'm curious. I appreciate that you called in with the list because, a lot of times, people don't do that. I throw things out there, conversation starters, and that's a good thing. So, hey, people, call in with your top 5 albums. It could be fun. Let's compare everyone's musical taste. So, all righty, let's move on now. Okay. We got this one now. Okay, sorry. There's multiple ones in this, but it's by date, and so I'm trying to figure out which one it is. So it's this one.
Nick, what's up, dude?
Dakota.
This is Dakota. What? I just got passed by a car on the interstate who has a license plate, an actual license plate, and then has taken over that actual license plate a drive-out tag. And I'm on the interstate, so I can't pull him over, which makes me sad because he's not in a park. But I'm very curious as to the story and why they have 2 tags. Anyway, that's not why I called you. I called you because you said the phrase wibbly, wobbly, timey-wimey. Mm-hmm. I'm just now getting to the things, the HERF, the session recap that you did. Okay. And you said that phrase, and that tells me that you are, in fact, a Doctor Who fan.
Oh,
or at least privy to Doctor Who references. And I am going to give away my level of nerd when I have this conversation with you, sir. But I just got to know, first of all, do you or did you actually watch it? I feel like you might have done what I did and watched it very closely for a while. That's if you were a fan. And then did not watch it afterwards because it got incredibly preachy. But I do have plans on catching up. The African gentleman, F.A. Kwofu Mintz, I don't know, whatever that gentleman's name is. I saw a couple or one of his, and I just need to make sure that I catch up. Who was your favorite Doctor? Who did you get to? I got to whatever his first name is, Mr. Capaldi. Oh my gosh, why are you yelling at me? Sorry. My GPS is yelling in my ear. So my favorite has got to be David Tennant, the 10th Doctor, which I think is by far everybody else's favorite. However, Matt Smith is a close second, and I've met a bunch of people that hated Matt Smith, and it don't make any dang sense. It's because they like the 10th Doctor, and then they just got closed mind, and they're like, he left. I don't want anybody. That's the nature of the Doctor, man. That's what happens. So you got to get used to the other characters, but no, man, the 10th Doctor is my favorite. And then Matt Smith was an amazing Doctor as well. I could have lived without the Mr. Capaldi gentleman, but he is not the worst. And I like this one African dude, but I saw him for like a half second, and that is it. So we'll see if it got a little bit less preachy when I finally decide to catch up. Anyway, peace out.
Yes, I did watch Doctor Who, and good catch on the timey-wimey wibbly wobbly. I throw that out there quite frequently. I don't know if I may have on the cast before, but definitely whenever you caught it. But in life, I do throw that out there, and it's amazing. I mean, maybe it's not amazing. It's Doctor Who. I don't know how prevalent that is here in the States, but how many people just don't catch it, and that's fine, whatever. But those that do know what I'm talking about. So I got into it kind of when they did the relaunch with the Ninth Doctor, which was Christopher Eccleston. And he only did that one season. And man, that season was good. And it's super underrated because he only did that one season. But I really do. He was like my first, like I remember every once in a while seeing seeing the old ones on PBS, and this might be one of those things where it's just like, whoa. It's kind of like when I try to tell people that classic Star Trek from the 60s is really, really good and you need to watch classic Star Trek. People are like, but it's so old looking. It's kind of the same way with me with Doctor Who. I respect the old stuff, but like I kind of got into it with Next Generation, if you will, so it's like, I don't want to go back and watch the old stuff. And so Christopher Eccleston was my first experience with Doctor Who, and I really dug that season a lot. David Tennant, that took me a minute to get into him because I was so like into Christopher Eccleston. But I agree with you. David Tennant for me is peak Doctor. He's the best Doctor. Matt Smith, same thing. Took me a minute to get into him. But I like Matt Smith. I have nothing against Matt Smith. I think he's a solid third place behind Christopher Eccleston, but that's just my opinion. Peter Capaldi, I did not get into him. I gave him, I think, like one episode, and that's when I fell off. I fell off with Peter Capaldi. There was something about it. He was a gruff, blah, 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 whatever. I'm not saying that I wouldn't go back and watch those, but I really don't care. And then from there, it went from him to, what is it, Jodie Whittaker, the woman doctor. And again, I didn't watch those. I had fallen out of it by then, and I heard enough about it to know that the show got really preachy, and I don't like my entertainment to be super preachy. I want my entertainment to be entertaining. If I want preachy, then I will find my information. I don't need my entertainment to be preachy. And so I didn't watch her. But then when Disney, for the hot minute that Disney and the BBC teamed up and brought Doctor Who to Disney Plus, they did the specials, and they brought back David Tennant. And I'm like, holy shit, this is great. And then they did the whole thing with him where like he split, and that's when we got the new doctor, the African dude that you were talking about. And I don't know his name either, and that's on me, and I should, I apologize because I'm sure he listens. I watched, I think, his first episode where like somebody was like stealing babies. Was that what was going on? There was aliens that were like stealing babies or old people or something like that. There was something going on. I don't remember. Anyway, stealing time, and like people were forgetting that these people even existed. I don't know. I can't remember. The bottom line is I watched the first one and it was entertaining enough. It set up the new doctor. It set up his new companion, and they were going to go off in the TARDIS and go on madcap adventures. And I just never watched any more of it. And now he's gone, and there's all these questions as to like, who are they going to bring? And it's, so like, I'm kind of out of it again. It's a fun show. I like it. There was a hot minute where it just really captured me. And for 3 actors, I was all in on it. And then it just didn't continue on that path. And I just kind of fell out of it. So, yeah, I think my Doctor Who window was the 8th, 9th, and 10th Doctors. No, 9th, 10th, and 11th Doctors. Because the 8th Doctor was the one that they did that movie on Fox, I think. It was like he was a one and out movie, and that was it. But yeah, in the 90s, I feel like it was in the 90s, they did like a one and out movie for the 8th Doctor. Anyway, bottom line, Christopher Eccleston, David Tennant, Matt Smith, those are my doctors. David Tennant being the top, and then Eccleston, and then Matt Smith. So I'm right there with you, bud. Now the real question for you, what villain was like the one that you were just sitting back going, holy shit? For me, I'd have to say it was probably the Weeping Angels. They were creepy as shit. And, yeah, I'd say the Weeping Angels, but there's another one I'm thinking of, and I can't remember. I can't remember it to be able to tell it. So I'm going to go with the Weeping Angels. The Daleks were always just freaking goofy to me. It's like they're these, like just roving like Roombas with guns on the front, and it's just there was nothing about them that really, whatever. The Cybermen say they were kind of clunky, but yeah, the Weeping Angels, man, they were creepy as shit, and I like the scary ones, but yeah. It was there were some good episodes. There were some really good episodes. So anyway, yeah, you caught the Doctor Who reference. Good for you. All right, moving on. We got another call here.
Good afternoon. It's Stephen calling from Canada.
Hey,
just listening to the latest Ask the Boys episode, and I think that Dakota needs a nickname. And after listening to him talk about his wife not being happy with the Cigar Pulpit being listed above her in his favorites, I think he should be known as Side Piece. Anyways, that's all I got. Have a good day. Thanks, bye.
Steven, I love it. Side Piece. Dakota, Steven from Canada has deemed you Side Piece. This is fun. You know, I was just commenting with Tremek the other day that Boots was the only parishioner with an official nickname up to now. But now we have Boots and Side Piece. I like this. Or would technically the pulpit be side piece to his wife? I don't know. I'm gonna side piece. I like side piece. You know, good call, Steve. See, this is good. This is the parishioner community in action here. See, this is fun. I like this. I like this a lot. I'd also like to point out that the parishioner community can come together because I have named dates for our next Zoom Herfs. We did the initial Zoom Herfs in April. Right before Easter. And I said then that I wanted to start doing them monthly. And I have named some dates. I put them up in the parishioners group, but I will name them off now. So the first one will be on Friday, May 29th. Then we jump to June, where we have Thursday, June 25th, and Friday, June 26th. Then we have Saturday, July 25th. And then finally, Thursday, August 27th. If you are in the parishioners group, I have posted those dates in there. I will be also posting them to my Instagram, and I will make sure that I put them into the upcoming email of the Cigar Chronicle. However, if you are not receiving any of that, if you're maybe not a social media person, or for whatever reason haven't signed up for my newsletter, and you wish to get not only those dates, but also the Zoom login information, you can email me at nick, N-I-C-K, at cigarpulpit.com. That's nick at cigarpulpit.com. And I will email you both the Zoom login information and the dates so that you have that. So anyway, it's another opportunity for us to just kind of come together and connect. So maybe Steven and Dakota can hash out the merits of this side piece nickname for Dakota on an upcoming Zoom. But I like it. I like the idea of assigning fun nicknames. So I don't know if Dakota's going to like it, but see, that's the thing about nicknames. Sometimes you don't like your nickname, but it just kind of comes together and fits. So, all righty, moving on. We got another call here. Thanks for the call, Steven.
Hey, Nick, it's Tyler from Pennsylvania.
What up?
Just wanted to check in and say I just listened to your most recent episode about the PCA review. And as somebody who cut his teeth on the blue or purple Reserve Real Nicaraguan, I definitely think that they hit a home run with the Profundo. It's probably one of my new favorites from them. Luckily, I am fortunate that my local lounge has these already, and I've smoked them in different formats, and they are fantastic across the board. Actually, I'm probably gonna smoke one of them later tonight. Actually, but if you ever want to do like have like a herf, you can call me back at this number, shoot me a text or whatever, and I'll be more than happy to shoot the shit with you and smoke up a cigar with you. But yeah. Hang on, I got somebody else here that wants to say something real quick.
Okay.
The Tyler Pulaski here. I would just like to say that I am very much all in favor of having the adult never found Easter eggs there that my friend Jerry Pulaski was talking about, and I hope that they all go well for him, and he hopes that he continues to do that because I am all for the Jerry Pulaski shenanigans. Anywho, that's all I wanted to say for now. Bye-bye. Stay safe and stay smoky.
I love it so much. We have Tyler Pulaski. Well, Tyler from Pennsylvania, I somehow or another, the universe was on our wavelength together, and I literally just got done announcing the next Zoom herf. So, I will make sure that you get the Zoom login information, and you can join us on the next one, which will be on May 29th. But also June and July and August if you can't make June or May. Dude, the Profundo was such a good cigar. I have one more in the humidor, and I'm waiting. I'm going to do that for a drive time review. But holy shit, you're right. They hit a home run with that one. Because I've smoked my fair share of the Reserva Real Nicaragua, and that Romeo y Julieta Profundo was just lights out. It had, whereas the blue one was just a lot of spice and strength, I feel like the Profundo, they like refined it. So it's strong and peppery, but it's also got like some nuance to it, and it's just a super good cigar. I really, really dig that one. So, and such a different smoking experience than the OG Red Band Reserva Real. That's the cool thing, is between the three, you have the red, the blue, and now this kind of maroonish, purplish one that the Profundo. It's like you have totally different points on a spectrum, and it's just awesome. So no, I'm not only jealous that you have a lounge near you that carries the Profundo, but also carries multiple Vitolas of it. But also, I'm glad that you smoked it and you liked it too. And because we all like validation. I like to be validated. I like to know that other people have smoked and enjoyed the cigars that I smoke, because then it's like I'm not the only one on an island saying like, I liked it. Why didn't everyone else like it? So anyway, no. So thanks for the call. I appreciate it. And we'll have to find out how the whole hidden Easter egg thing went, because I haven't heard an update there, but some never found Easter eggs. That one of those things. All right, we got one more call on the hotline here.
Nick, James from Grass Valley, California. It is a beautiful Sunday afternoon. No, not true. I'm sitting in the backyard. It's overcast and gray, and I just enjoyed a McAuliffe Color Series while listening to your most recent episode in remembrance of Harambe.
Harambe.
Let us take a moment of silence. Okay, that's long enough because I know I only got a couple of minutes.
You do.
You should absolutely try the McAuliffe Color Series. It's the short fill, literally the trimmings from when they're doing the other Color Series McAuliffe cigars.
Indeed.
They also have the McAuliffe Ambassadors and the Long Ash Contest. I can tell you what, these people who are posting photos at the McAuliffe Ambassadors Facebook group, they got to be running like wires or something through their ash. I cannot get one over an inch. And, you know, the air is pretty still because I've got this ugly overcast here in California. And I tell you, I couldn't get one to hang on past, you know, a little more than an inch. That being said, you asked for cigars you should try on your drive time reviews or maybe on an upcoming podcast. It was a banger cigar. You know, the ash is such a little reflection of the quality and the beautiful taste of a cigar. I would never, you know, fault a cigar for having a flaky or fragile ash. And so McAuliffe Color Series, and they're super cheap. So, and you can get them at twoguyscigars.com. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. Anyway, stay smoky. Have a great day. Talk to you next time. Bye.
Thanks for the call, James. And so many places for me to go there. First of all, I did smoke it. I smoked it at PCA. There was, in fact, one day at PCA that was the only cigar I smoked all day. And it was one of the day. It was a day that we were super busy doing recordings all over the place. And my whole thing when I'm doing that is I don't want to walk up to the Altadis booth and be smoking a McAuliffe, and I don't want to walk up to the McAuliffe booth and be smoking a West Tampa, and I don't want to walk up to the West Tampa booth and be smoking a JC Newman, and so on and so on and so on, you know? And so, so I typically just don't smoke anything on the show floor. And quite frankly, it's one more thing in the hand. You know, that's the other thing. You're walking around and you're carrying shit, and I just don't need one more thing to carry, much less one more thing that could burn me or potentially burn something I'm carrying, or burn the floor if I drop it. So I chose, because they do have carpet. So I chose to just not fire up anything. But when we were done for the day with the recordings, we ended up at the United Cigars booth. What day would this have been? This would have been Sunday. It would have been Sunday, because Saturday was a busy day. Sunday, by about midday, it just cleared out. It's like all of a sudden it was like tumbleweeds rolling through the aisles. It's like, it was crazy how like it was so busy, and then just boop, it was just done. And so it was near the end of the day on Sunday. We saw Dan Davidson sitting there at the United booth, so we went over and sat with him and just kind of shot the shit. And it's like, hey, what have you seen? What have you seen? What's cool? What's cool with you? You know, blah, 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 and all that kind of thing. And the last interview that we did before we went over to their booth, because they were pretty close, you could see them from one another, was McAuliffe. And so while Sean, if you go and watch the videos, Sean did an interview with Lauren from McAuliffe. While that was taking place, I had a conversation with Dan Thompson from McAuliffe, and it was a nice conversation. It was good. And I need, Dan, if you're listening, I need to get you back on the show. It's been a minute, and you guys have kind of done a whole lot of shit since you were on the show last. But we were talking about the color series, and that's when I kept referring to it as the rainbow. And he's like, hey, you know, we're going with the color series. We're not going with the rainbow. And I'm like, okay. Anyway, he was telling me about the contest and this and that and whatever. And he flat out knows that there are going to be some people that are sticking a wire through their cigar to try and hold the ash. And he's like, that's going to be the fun. Is like, everybody's going to be up in arms fighting with one another about, you're cheating and blah, 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 and all that. But what I will say, James, in defense of the ash of that cigar, you might not be able to be getting it past about an inch before it breaks. But hand to God, I stood there and I watched as Sean smoked, it was the 6x60. It was the Gordo size. He was smoking the 6x60 version of the color series. And he made it to the halfway point of that cigar before the ash fell off. I swear I saw it. And I remember even commenting to him about it. We were talking about it. I'm like, holy shit, that thing's actually holding it. And we were bantering back and forth about it. And as we were talking about it, that's when whatever angle he was holding it at, you know, was enough that the force, you know, caused it to break and just nuke the carpet. But and then he just takes a foot. He's like, meh, and just kind of kicks it. It's like, oh God. But anyway, but no, he got to the halfway point with that cigar and was able to hold the ash to the point that, and he's told the story a million times, but Amanda McAuliffe came over and was like, we're not staring at you. We're actually watching your ash. It was her and somebody from the factory. Maybe it was their master blender, something like that. They were sitting there and watching this ash because his ash was holding so well. They were tracking to see how long it was going to stay up. And anyway, for what it's worth, I know you can get a long ash with that cigar. Now, I smoked the Toro version of it, and I wasn't in on the whole ash that I ashed it as I went because I didn't need that kind of stress in my life at that moment. And I'm certainly not going to be trying to do a long ash contest in the car. For those of you who've watched the drive time reviews, I ash pretty often and pretty regularly, or pretty early and pretty often in the car, because the last thing in the world I want to do is nuke the carpet in the car and then have that ashy kind of smell going on in there. So I'm not going to be pulling off any long ash contests while smoking in the car, but it could be fun to do so here in the Garage of Love. So there is that. What else did you bring up? Harambe. Yes. And and you're right. For the price, it's an amazing cigar for the price. I don't know. It's definitely going to be a big seller. And if it's not, then something's horribly wrong with the industry, and everybody has completely misjudged the desire to get affordable cigars into the people's hands, because I'm telling you, like, there's no reason that cigar shouldn't be one of the biggest sellers of the year for the quality and consistency and the price point. Now, I will say, flavor-wise, what you start with is what you end with. But that's not bad. It's a good flavor, and quite frankly, what do you expect from a $5 cigar? You're not going to be getting like intricate flavor changes throughout a $5 cigar, especially one that's made from that's like a Cuban sandwich that's got, clippings from all the other Color Series cigars that they're using in this. That's fine. It's good tobacco. It tastes fine, and it works. It burns well, and it holds together. What else do you want? Like I said, you're not going to see massive flavor changes from the first third to the second third and all that. But for $5, as long as it burns well and tastes good, I'm fine. It doesn't have to be an intricate, complex experience. So for what it's worth, I think the McAuliffe Color Series cigar is actually one of the big winners coming out of PCA. When people ask, what were your favorite things that you saw at PCA? From the novelty of it, I thought the German engineering packaging was cool. I don't know about the practicality of it for everyone else. And I'm talking specifically the little chips in the bands. I don't know about the practicality of that for everybody else, or as an industry kind of deal. Hell, I don't even know if we were able to. It might be proprietary to them and whatever. But the point is, it was cool. I don't know if it's, going to be like this big thing. But in terms of cigars that premiered at PCA, look, there are some that I'm eager to try. The Barbershop from West Tampa, I have a couple of them in there. I plan on smoking one of those soon. I'm looking forward to trying that. I haven't tried it yet, so I can't say what my opinion of it is. I'm sure it's going to be good, though. I mean, I like West Tampa. But that's one, in my opinion, I'm excited about. I'm excited about the Zeno Honduras, the Red Band Zeno cigars that they're coming out with. Dude, you give me an affordable, good cigar, and the Zeno Nicaragua is great. So I'm looking forward to trying the Zeno Honduras. What else was I really jazzed about? The Perdomo, the new Perdomo Legacy family legacy. I'm looking forward to it. But I'll have to order some from Two Guys when that eventually hits. But yeah, so there's that. The Profundo, the Romeo and Juliet Profundo, came out of absolutely nowhere and blew my socks off. I loved that cigar. And then, yeah, this color series from McAuliffe was definitely a big one for me. I'm trying to think of what else I encountered. What else, I saw that I was like, the Gorbustos from Aladino. I think those are cool. The Chimp, man, that Chimp really stuck with me as like, that one's definitely my favorite of the three. The more I've reflected on that one hits. Yeah. I mean, there were cigars there that were good. But I think in terms of the price point and the quality, man, that McAuliffe Color Series is going to be hard to beat. Anyway, thanks for the call. I do appreciate it. And that wraps up our messages. So, guys, get your calls in to the hotline at area code 863-874-0000. Really thought that went out on me, and I think it might technically have almost gone out on me. So I'm going to go ahead and hit it with just a little bit more fire, and hopefully we don't swallow any more of it. Because that was a horribly unpleasant experience. I did do a drive time review of the My Father Blue. So if you are looking for more detailed information about the cigar, flavor notes and a more in-depth review, including my scoring, because while I don't do scoring here on the show, I do scoring in the drive time reviews. So, and I haven't heard from anybody any sort of like, that's bullshit. It should be this or whatever. So like, fight me. Let's debate this out. I have one coming up tomorrow. This week. The one coming up this week. That one, I'm going to be very curious what the reaction is to that one. Specifically, my opinion of the strength of that cigar. I do think that I think people are going to think, well, I'll just put it this way. I think my strength rating on that cigar might be a touch of a hot take. We'll see. Anyway, moving on. Let's do this now. It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report, brought to you by Villiger. Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarello manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family-owned and operated. Head over to VilligerCigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. All right, what have I been watching lately? So, I did watch the Kentucky Derby, and that's not normally something that I do because it's one of those things that typically, to be honest, I'm busy that day, and the damn thing runs so quickly that by the time the actual race is going on, I'm usually out of the house doing something, whatever, and I'm not by a TV to where I just miss it. And so, like, honestly, for all these horse races, I tend to just, hear at the end, like, oh, they won. And I'm like, good for that horse, that kind of thing. This year was pretty cool, though. I was home. I had a minute. I got a text message right before the race started, kind of letting me know the race was starting. I'm like, fuck it. So I Googled, like, where I can watch the Kentucky Derby. And I got there right in time for the start of the race. And so I watched the race, and so I got to see Golden Tempo win the Kentucky Derby as like coming completely from the back and winning. And it's super exciting race for a horse. That was a really cool horse race. And then to find out just all the kind of importance of it, with the first woman trainer and this and that and whatever. It's cool. It was a cool story. And And I liked the fact that the horse from the back, kind of came around and won from the front. And it's like, you don't want it to be, I like that. The underdog story. It's good. But yeah, so I watched the Derby, and that was cool. What else have I watched? I had my son this weekend, so there was a lot of we've moved into different cartoons. So we are still doing Storybots. There's significantly less Thomas because Netflix took Thomas off. So Thomas is now only available on Amazon Prime. And for whatever reason, my son doesn't want me. It's like he knows that it was on Netflix, but now it's not there. So it's like it's dead to him. But it's like, no, it's there. It's just on a different app, but that doesn't matter. And then Clifford, he really didn't watch much in the way of Clifford this weekend. So we had some Storybots, but the one this weekend that just grinds my gears is Mickey Mouse's Roadster Racers. It's kind of the older boy version of the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. And so it's got Mickey and Donald and all of their friends, and they all have race cars. And everything they do involves them driving their race cars and doing stuff with race cars and, whatever else. So it kind of mixes Mickey and fast cars. And so it's like, all right, that's kind of fun. That's kind of cool. Whatever. It was something different. I'm not the biggest Disney guy. Dan Davidson and I, we agree to disagree when it comes to the Disney thing. But yeah, I have to watch just how much the Cult of the Mouse drags my son in, because I'm going to have to stage an intervention. I'm going to have to go running through their church, with my little pack of dwarves, kind of like the guy did with the Church of Scientology. That's a whole thing. Apparently, this is like some TikTok challenge for like young people where they invade and like run through and try to run through different Scientology offices and buildings and stuff, to the point that now the Church of Scientology has been locking down their buildings and stuff to prevent people from getting in, which I think is wonderful. I am all for screwing with the Scientologists. I think this is funny as shit. Normally these TikTok challenges, I'm just like, this is fucking stupid. But you know what? Yes. Screw with the Scientologists. This is fun. I like it. But anyway, I haven't had to stage an intervention just yet for my boy with the Cult of the Mouse. I feel like we're able to kind of keep the mouse as entertainment and not life, So there was that. And then, what else have I watched this weekend? It's really about it. I caught the Derby and I had my kids stuff and, wrestling. But you guys don't want to hear me talk about wrestling. So, at least I don't think you do. Maybe you do. Maybe you're a huge pro wrestling audience, and I'm totally dismissing it. But I kind of chalk it up to like my comic books. Nobody wants to hear me sit and talk about my comic books for an hour, So you don't want to hear me sit and talk about my wrestling. And that's fine. It's okay. So there's that. Anyway, that's what I've been watching. I have some stuff in the queue. I did go deep diving into HBO. They did put some new stuff up with the start of the month. And I did go deep diving and adding some stuff to my list. So I'm hoping that I can, kind of pull some time together to sit and catch up on some of that stuff and, watch some more and see what's what. So there's that. So anyway. Alrighty, well, it is, you know what? I haven't done this in a hot minute.
Guess what, motherfucker?
It's time for 3 cigars we smoked and enjoyed this week. And I haven't done this in a hot minute. Mostly because, quite frankly, my recording schedule's been weird. A lot of pre-recording, a lot of scheduling it out, this and that and whatever. And I just haven't taken the time to really stop and do this. So I'm going to go back a little bit, not a ton, but a little bit, and just kind of see what I've been smoking lately. and check this out. So, the first one I want to, man, I have been pretty consistent. The first one I want to highlight is, damn, how far back do I want to go? We'll go back to this one. So the first one I want to highlight is the Henry Clay Warhawk Rebellious. Danny was so kind as to bring me a handful of that cigar. He tracked down at a cigar shop somewhere, and he bought like 6 Henry Clay Warhawk Rebellious for me because he knows that I love that cigar. And he brought them with him to PCA and gave them to me. And holy shit, man, I am so appreciative. And I smoked that the other night, chilling out here in the garage watching TV. And it was just such a wonderful time. And I love that cigar so much. And so I'm very slowly working on that bag because I do not, the temptation to sit and just freaking burn one after another is just so there. And I'm trying desperately to space them out and to savor them. So, yes, so the first one I had was the Henry Clay Warhawk Rebellious because it has good flavor and a lot of spice to it. I enjoyed that one. The next one that I want to highlight is, let's do, you know what? Let's do this. The next one I want to highlight is one that I had coming back from Kentucky. And it was the JFR Corojo from Aganorsa Leaf. It's their, I actually have one right here. What is it? It's their Super Toro. The JFR, I have one in a baggie right here. It's just a simple JFR Corojo cigar. I got it relatively cheap and super good. It's so good for like a car cigar. The only thing I'll say is the wrapper can be a little fragile. So, you know, you just kind of got to deal with maybe the occasional crack. But they burn through it and it's fine. And it's a good cigar. The other thing that I hate about it is that it has the closed foot. So I always have to fire that thing up and then get driving because inevitably, if I don't, I don't light my cigars while I'm driving anyway, but I don't like the threat of potentially burning my shirt with the closed foot. So if they would fix the closed foot, I would be a happy man, but it's a good cigar and I really enjoyed it. The last one that I want to highlight that I smoked while I was at Party Source, I got a great deal on a box of Charter Oak Habanos from Foundation. And that is just a favorite daily, just cheap, not cheap in terms of quality, but budget-friendly cigar for me. I got the box of 20 for like $116, which is, I mean, that's a good price when you break it down by the stick. And so I picked that up, and so I had myself a Charter Oak Habano, and it's a great cigar. And again, it's budget friendly and I liked it a lot. So anyway, 3 cigars I smoked and enjoyed. Now, get my cigar going so it doesn't go out while I do this. Now, it's Tuesday, and you know what that means. It's time for another lemonade review. And so today, we are going to be trying the Dole brand lemonade. Dole, known for pineapples, but they make lemonade as well. Dole. This is made with real lemon juice and real sugar from concentrate with other natural flavors. This bottle contains only 3% juice. Oh my, that list of ingredients is rather long too. Water, sugar, citric acid, lemon juice concentrate, sodium citrate, sodium polyphosphates to protect flavor, gum arabic, potassium benzenite preserves freshness, potassium sorbate preserves freshness, glycerol ester of ricin, natural flavor, calcium disodium, is it EDTA? EDTA? Eotia? I can't tell if it's an O or a D, to protect flavor. And the thing that really makes it, the really thing that sets it off, yellow number 5. So yeah, this is definitely one of our more mass marketed, more chemically negative, more chemically lemonades that we've tried on the old show with the lemonade review. But we're trying all comers here, and I saw it, and it was one that I hadn't tried yet. So, bottoms up with the Dole lemonade. Is it as good as their pineapple juice? We will see. Oh, it's a sugar bomb. It is pure sugar. I mean, there's no tartness. There's no lemonade tartness to this. This is pure I'm not going to be able to finish this bottle tonight. There's pure, absolute sugar in this thing. This is very reminiscent of the PCA Kool-Aid lemonade that I had. I call it that because it was obviously a mix. Yeah. Oh man, I got to cap this up because the temptation to drink this whole thing is there, but my blood sugar will hate me. The Dole lemonade, sugar bomb, plain ass sugar bomb. And I love a sweet lemonade. I have talked about that on the show before. That is definitely one of my criteria for the lemonade reviews. However, I like complexity with the sugar, and there is no complexity to that. That is straight sugar with yellow number 5 and maybe apparently only 3% lemon juice to go along with the sugar. So, it did go out while I was doing the lemonade review. All right, we'll get the cigar going again. So what am I going to give that? So the PCA lemonade, I gave a 6. It was obvious box mix. Don't get me wrong. It was sweet. It was good. But there was nothing to it. It was basic ass Kool-Aid lemonade. This is Dole's bottled version of basic ass Kool-Aid lemonade. Realistically, if you're like, this is one that like you could give a kid and they would be super happy with. There is nothing offensive about this at all. Minute Maid lemonade has more flavor and complexity than this Dole does. I am going to, you know what? It's hitting me the exact same way as the PCA lemonade. It doesn't have the granular kind of like obviousness of a mix that the PCA lemonade did. The PCA lemonade, it was obvious that the catering crew was in the back making big vats of it, stirring it up and turning water into lemonade. So I'm going to rank it a little higher than the PCA lemonade, but not by much. I'm giving the Dole lemonade a 6.5, 6.5. It's just so sweet and so uncomplex. and I also don't like it when it has a ton of ingredients. I mean, it's lemonade, for God's sakes. This should not have a list of ingredients with like things that I can't pronounce easily. And I understand that, we got to preserve freshness because we don't know how long it's going to be on the shelf at blah, blah, blah. But come on, I've bought other lemonades that are made for mass market sale and they don't have that same shit in it. So, for what it's worth, yeah, the Dole lemonade, 6.5. And, hopefully, next week's lemonade kind of comes back with some strength because, we've been on a run here lately. We had, a couple weeks ago with Mike Brinker, we had the Minute Maid pink lemonade and that got an 8.5. But then PCA came in with a 6 and now Dole lemonade with a 6.5. I mean, we've got two kind of like mid-range C's get degrees kind of lemonades here. So we got to get back in the game. I mean, we had a good run going there for a while of good lemonades. And then all of a sudden it's like, Here we go. 6.5. So, yep, we need to up our game on the lemonade stuff. So, anyway, that would be that. All right, guys. Well, it is that time where I tell you that I'm available on the socials. I am on Instagram at the Cigar Pulpit. I am on Facebook, where we have the Pulpit Parishioners group. It's a private group. Find it, request access, get in on that. It's a good time. People share their cigars on there. And that's also where I make a lot of show announcements, including the one I made about the Zoom Herfs. If you're not on Facebook, I get it. That's fine. You can always email me for the Zoom Herf information. Again, nick@cigarpulpit.com. The next one up is May 29th. But I'm also on Twitter/X. You can watch the show on Rumble and YouTube. I do my drive time reviews every Wednesday. They come out Wednesday at 7 a.m. and they are available on Rumble and YouTube and TikTok. And what else do I need to mention? Ask the Pulpit. I need your calls. You guys got to get those call numbers up. Everybody needs to come on, call it. It's harmless. You get it goes straight to voicemail, so you don't have to even talk to anybody. It goes straight to voicemail, and you got a 3-minute window on the voicemail. So as long as you keep your call under 3 minutes, you're not going to get cut off. And if you do, or if you want to call back again, I mean, I obviously play multiple calls from the same caller, so call back and continue your point. If it takes you 2 messages, it takes you 2 messages. That's fine. But that number is area code 863-874-0000. That's 863-874-0000, or tofu pie with no E, 0000. I'll also say that if you want to email me and Ask the Pulpit, if for whatever reason, maybe you're shy and you don't want to call the hotline, you don't want to hear your voice on the show, whatever you happen to have, you can always email me. Once again, Nick, N-I-C-K, @cigarpulpit.com. I'll take your email. I'll read it, on the show, and I'll answer it that way. You can always email me. And then finally, speaking of email, if you're not already signed up for the Cigar Chronicle newsletter, it comes out once a month, and one just came out last week, but the May one is going to be a little closer to that one, only because I got so far behind in April that it came out technically on Friday, May 1st. I put it together on April 30th, so it counts as April in my mind, but whatever. Anyway, there will be another one in May, probably about mid-May. So just head on over to cigarpulpit.com. A little pop-up box comes up on there. You put in your email, and you're all signed up. It's all super easy. Anyway, that's that. That's the show. Guys, thank you so much for taking time out. I appreciate all your calls. I love doing these. It's so much fun to just listen to all the randomness that's on your minds. Sometimes it's cigar related, and sometimes it's about what albums you're listening to or liking. And so I appreciate that. So if there's one thing that you should have taken away from this show, it's don't swallow the smoke on the My Father Blue unless you really desperately want to taste the barbecue beef component of this cigar. And otherwise, I will talk with you next time. This has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpits. I'm Nick. Everybody, stay safe and stay smart. Dude, I swear that lemonade is freaking sugary hell. Oh my God. Later, guys.